There's so much of this. I'm just gonna cut because we're at 10:06. Like so much.
That's all right. We get segue into the funnest portion of the RTN.
Hey guys, welcome to Mean Mugging in Games. We are on our next episode. I think we're on episode 4 now. I know it's only 4 weeks. We're on episode 4, but it's been 5 weeks because we had a Road to Nationals, which we're going to talk about. We had that this past weekend. We had a video come out last week on a Dorinthia deck tech, so that was pretty cool. Thank you, Kyle, for giving us that interview. But we have some stuff planned for tonight, just talking about our experience. But before we do, we have our classic "What are you mugging?" So I have an orange can, and I know you're asking me what this was earlier.
What are you mugging there,
So we'll
Nathan?
have to shut us. I just got this tonight. This is the first time ever
Ooh.
having it. Oyster City. There's a brewery right downtown Mobile. It's not out of Mobile, but it is downtown Mobile. Mangrove.
Okay.
It's a mango pale ale.
All right.
I have to tell you, it is very mango.
Is it juicy?
I mean, it's like mango intense. I took one
All
sip of
right.
it and I went, huh, this is a beer too. And I opened another beer and then switched to this one for our show because this is definitely beer too. It's very mangoey. It's delicious, but it's a beer too delicious, not a beer one.
I gotcha.
All right, so what do you got? It tastes more like juice than beer. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not lying. When I drink it, it doesn't have like a super beer taste. It's like very mango. It's like drinking juice with like an edge. Anyways, what are you mugging tonight?
Well, nothing that extravagant or mango-y. I've just got my the the cool, Ohio State football glass with the traditional Coke Zero
Yep.
in
Just
it. Nothing harsh. Nothing
your
spiked.
your evening drink.
My evening
Your
drink
evening drink.
till tomorrow.
I know. So I always bring the weird extravagant beers. Which I brought a couple beers for the past couple of weeks. I brought a couple different beers. So I brought the Juicy Pale Ale.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? The Juicy Haze or whatever, which you
Yep.
loved. Braided River. I'm a big fan of Braided River. They're just local here in Mobile. And then we had the Summer Crush, which is a summer sour beer.
Good too.
This on the RTN. We had a beer towards the end of the RTN, just enjoy ourselves while
Dude.
we played some UPF, which we'll talk about that in a later
Ooh.
date. But yeah, so that's. I'll have to bring some. Maybe I'll bring one of these for you tomorrow. You could try
Yes,
it.
please.
I'll probably grab. I
Yes.
would grab something else though too, because it is a. It is. If you don't like mango, don't drink this. It is very mangoey.
Oh, I like mango. Mango's good.
So we're gonna talk about our RTN experience, our road to Nats. So we did it was kind of twofold here. You played, I judged, which on
Mm-hmm.
our video last week, Kyle and I had a slight discussion on that because there was a big moment in our judging in there, or my judging anyways,
Oh
that
yeah.
could have decided a game. It didn't. Thankfully, Dorothea won.
You
But it
you
was
you you definitely won or definitely earned your prize support for judging.
yes, so there it was a big deal. If you want to see about it, go back to that video. I think it's at like the 15 minute 10 somewhere in the 10-minute mark. We talk about that. Maybe I should timestamp it so that people can find it. But I did put it on to the Judge Hub and I got a I was basically told that I made the right decision. Like everyone was like, "You made the right
Oh, nice.
decision." It did start a huge. The day after was Sunday, and it started a huge. Like it took over the Judge Hub for the whole day, where people just talked about
Oh,
it.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
just look at that. So I was Whisper Wrath in there, and it took over the whole discussion, the whole day on that decision. And it was less about the actual decision, and it was more about why are you responsible for your opponent's card draw? which is because it was a
Mm.
game state. There was an illegal game state. He was supposed to have 5 cards because he did. Was it Exude Confidence? No, it's not Exude Confidence. What was the card?
Uh,
It's
no,
the other one.
it was Exude Confidence. The pump it up. Was it 3 resources?
No, no, no. It
Yeah, it
wasn't
was
Exude.
Exude because
No,
it
no,
was the
no. It was
Briar
the.
player, right?
It was the.
Flex.
No, it was Dory who did it. It was the gain 1 intellect when if this hits.
Oh,
The other
it
monarch
was
card.
Nourishing Emptiness.
Nourishing Emptiness.
No? Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I get those two confused. I don't know why, because they're very different arts. But I'm just like in my head, I flip their names all the time. So his Nourishing Emptiness hit. He forgot to draw it. Briar got in the middle of his turn, and he was like, "Oh, I forgot to draw." And I was like, "Well, you can't draw it. It's too far into the game state." So there, now you don't even have to go
Mhm.
watch the other video. Now you've heard what happened. Um, so but it was about most of the discussion in the Judge Hub was basically about, are you responsible for how much cards your opponent draws? Because the game state is illegal at that point, and both players get warning because of the game state, anyways. So that was a whole thing
Right.
in the Judge Hub. But it was fun. It was fun. It was fun seeing people's discussion in there and everything. Um, so from the judge perspective, that was my experience of like, hey, some big ones. Oh, another big call. I didn't call this out. In one of the games, um, a player actually knocked his deck over. It was like turn 2 or 3, and he knocked his deck over.
Mhm.
And card shown, it was over half his deck. It was about half his deck went onto the floor. So I had to look that up one as well because like I don't know what you call. And so what I saw was you have to shuffle your deck. We've seen too many cards. You've knocked too many cards over. Like, there's more than just a couple cards where you can just put it back on top. So I had to shuffle his deck. So he didn't get to pitch stack basically for the first couple turns. Luckily, I wasn't that far into it. But it was another interesting judge call, which I wish I had my promo with me. I would show you it, but I got the judge promo, which we're going to talk about in. We're going to talk about what that was. Um, in our UPF
Pretty
because that
sweet.
was that was a lot of fun. Um,
It was fun.
as a player, talk to me about your experience.
Oh, I was wrong. So,
Yes, you were.
for everybody listening, so I contacted Nathan the night before. I said, "Hey man, what should I play? Dromai or Viz?" He goes, "You do like Viz?" I said, "I do love Viz, right?" And he's like, at first you said Dromai. I said,
You
"Okay."
did.
I had that sleeved already. And then you're like, then like maybe like 2 minutes later, like, no, Viscerai. I said, okay. Well, what should have happened was I should have sleeved up Viscera right then and there. But what actually happened is I had Dromai already sleeved. So then I went on to Team Kitchen Fable, was practicing with a bunch of the guys. I kind of wanted to try some very aggro heavy poppers
Mm-hmm.
for the Dromai mirror because I had a suspicion that there was going to probably be a lot of Dromais um, and prisms. So I wanted to, instead of having 9 poppers, which my deck had, I wanted to see how it felt with 12 poppers.
Yep.
Um, and uh, what had happened was the day of the event, it was a 14-player RTN. I think there was, I'll try to go through the recap here. I think it was 5
It's
Dromais.
5 Jomais,
Uh, was
which
it
is
3 or
crazy
2
amount.
Briars?
It was one Briar.
Oh, it was 1 Briar.
It was
So
two
1 Briar,
Dories.
1 Fi, 2 Dories, 1 Lexi, 1 Kano, 1 Bravo. I feel like I'm missing something. 5,
Uh,
6, 7,
one
8,
Icelander.
9, 10, 11. 1 Icelander. I thought there
Fi.
was a
There's
2
a Fi.
somewhere.
The Dory was a 2 of.
There was a Fi. Okay, Dora was 2. Oh, and Bolton.
And Bolton,
Yeah,
obviously,
and
who
a
won?
Bolton. Uh, yeah. So the mistake was not listening to you
And going
and
Viserai.
taking
Because there
big
was no
purple,
Viz. There was no Viz there,
which
which is supposed to be one of the
no
strongest
Viz.
heroes.
And man, I'm still kicking myself today because I truly, truly, truly believe that if I would have brought Viserai, I'm not saying I would have won the event.
No, you would have probably
I
top
could
eighted.
definitely say I would definitely be in the top 8 and most likely probably top 4.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
which, you know, learning experience, if you ask your friends, what you should bring and he tells you bring this, you should bring that and not just uh keep what you had sleeved and out
Yeah.
and
I had it
she
right
brought
too.
this right. So
I mean, I'm gonna go with I had it right.
you did. You
Um,
did. But
because
Five Drum Eyes was crazy.
this would have absolutely wrecked the drum eyes. Um,
Yeah, Viz would and to go back onto it, so my match 1 was mirror match, which I felt very confident
you won it, right?
in the mirror. Yeah, it felt confident, but during game 1, it kind of was lopsided there for a hot minute.
You
I
guys
mean,
almost went to
it was
time.
like yeah, it was like 35 to like thir or maybe 35 to like 16 at one point. Opponent's edge. Um, and then the turning tables came when I unloaded. I had a lot of dragons and mini dragons out on the
Hmm.
field that he couldn't really combat with on board state. And it literally went to time. I was turn
It did go to
0.
time.
I
Yeah.
was turn player. Yeah, so I was able to kill him on my turn. Um, so that
Yeah.
was
Which
good. And then after,
I actually think it technically went overtime by like I don't even think it was a minute. But I
hmm
looked at the clock and I was like, oh, they're still playing. I need to tell them to be done. So like
yeah,
it wasn't like overly so, but like I remember looking at the clock being like, "Oh, it's like I got to call this right now." And
yeah,
it wasn't that I was trying to give you or him any. It was just literally um so my phone was streaming, so I didn't have a phone on me. So I had to keep watching the
hmm
clock. By clock, I mean there wasn't one on the wall. I had to keep going back to the back computer and be like, "What time is it? What time is it?"
yeah,
Um so I think it
yeah.
was like 30
Yeah.
seconds to a minute over.
Well, I mean, the Dromai mirror is pretty grindy
Hmm.
also, so it can go at a time. Um, I felt like I was playing quickly for the most part. Yeah, I'm not gonna knock on the other guy, but long story short, was able to take the win. I felt pretty good. I'm like, okay, feeling all right, and then um, game 2 was against Dorinthia, which I think he top forward, which was
Oh,
Caleb.
both Dorinthia's
Um,
top forward.
from yep, from second hand. Was there a team name? Second hand
Yeah, it was
strike.
secondhand. Yep, it was
Second
Colby.
second hand.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was secondhand.
So
He's got a
he
couple different. There's it was secondhand or whatever. He's got an LGS. He's got a couple different businesses. They're
yeah,
secondhand, so I
shout
don't know
shout out
what it
to
was.
him. Really cool dude, Colby. What's up? But he absolutely destroyed me. It was like 35-0. It was bad.
He had a
Um,
good day
eh,
overall. Um,
yeah,
I actually spoke to Kobe today. I know I told you that, and I was like, how was your weekend? He was like, man, I top four. He lives like 7 to 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours away. He was just here for the weekend on vacation with his family. So he came out to this and he was like, man, I'm doing
which
great.
was
I top
awesome.
four. I was like, all right.
Yeah, no, he did great. Dory was a surprise. And then my third game was Kano, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh,
And
everything that I
that was
did not want to
Andrew, and
play.
Andrew was so good at Kano.
Oh man, I thought I
He also
had
top
him.
four. So
I was
you played two
at
top
it
fours
was
in a row.
yeah. So yeah, Colby the 35-0. There's nothing I could do. I mean, there's I it, a Dromai Dorinthia matchup is you're doomed if you're Dromai. I really don't know how you
You
could
can't
beat
win.
it.
So
It's 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 almost
is
impossible.
what it is, I feel like in that matchup, you need to sideboard your senpais and your senpais and other things like that because she's
hmm
literally just going to farm off of your dragons because you can't block them. So he's just going to
Yeah,
get.
exactly. Just like you're saying, it's kind of like going back to the olden days of Chain and Prism, where you don't play Aura Prism, you just go Herald Prism and you
Mhm.
try to race. I think that's probably the case if
You have to.
with Dromai,
The
Senapais, and anything big.
Dromai just doesn't have as many options to do that because
Mhm.
most of her deck is, like I feel like Prism has a good balance of auras versus um, versus heralds. Because if you look at her stuff, a lot of the auras, there's a decent amount of auras that are um, illusionist only, and all of her big attacks are light illusionist. So like
Yeah,
Dromai gets absolutely nothing out of an aura.
nothing,
Literally nothing. So
nothing.
I'm actually curious to see how they're gonna kind of build out the illusionist role in general. Because like Dromai, for instance, she's straight dragons. Like her weapon doesn't allow her to manipulate auras, whereas
Yep.
everything we've seen of illusionists thus far and illusionist only cards are aura based. There's so many auras that
Yep.
are just illusionist, like the class in general, and she doesn't use auras at all. So
Yeah, no, it's gonna be very interesting in the next sets because I mean, what was it? Prism's 2 points off of living
oh, she's about
legend
to go.
status,
She's
anyways.
about to go.
So I mean, what do you do? I mean, Dromai, like you said, there's no auras for Dromai. You got Dragon, which are allies. So you I don't know. LSS, what do you do? But game or match 3 for me was Kano, and I got Kano'd. I
Mhm.
thought the life total I was at 23. Then I went down to 19. It was and when I went down to 19, it went back to my turn. He was at 7. Um,
Mm.
and I felt very, very, very good on killing him that turn. I thought 19 health was enough. Um, it wasn't. No,
He
it
killed
was
he
not
killed
with wildfire.
in top 8. He killed Fi with 25 life left. And he
Ooh,
was at
yeah,
1 or 2. He was like 1 or 2 and
yeah.
he killed her with 25 life. That was Amber. Amber
But yeah,
was leading Fi and he just demolished her.
yeah. So Andrew's really good
And just
Kano pilot.
fantastic.
So fantastic job to him. Kicked my butt.
He got top
And
4.
then your segue right there to Amber on playing Fi, and that was my fourth matchup. So every matchup that I did not want to see, which is usually my luck in competition, every time happens to me. I get
Yes.
paired against everything that I'm not supposed to play. Um, and she kind of like just shat all over me too. She, I think I got her down to like 9 or 8. She did have a Mask of the Pouncing Lynx
Mhm.
turn that combo. I think I took like 25 off of a Stubby Hammer Mask of the Pouncing Lynx
She's a very good
combo
Fi
turn.
player. She's also a very good deck tech person. So,
Well, I will say this. To combat Phi, there's 2 cards for our viewers listening that definitely should put in their sideboard regardless for Briar, Phi, Katsu, and that will be this round is on me.
I've heard that,
Uh,
but it gives him a card.
yeah, everybody gets a draw card, yay! But however, if you play it, your the opponent's next attack or next turn is -1. So if they're coming in with Kadachi swings, coming in for 0. Um, so that works out for that. And then defense reaction is going to be the new card from Uprising, which is that all you got? You know,
Mhm.
block 2, draw a card. So there you guys go.
Yeah, I've heard if that all you got is basically the game winner against Fi. Like that is in Uprising specifically to destroy Fi.
The funnest portion of the RTN, which was
Our UPF experience.
yes,
So
that was fun.
I'm gonna cover up your face for a second. I'm so sorry. But I'm about to drag a thing over your face. Okay. Okay, so we had a UPF experience. So I got this as my judge promo. It's on the screen over there. Where you're, Mike.
Hmm.
It's covering your face, Mike. I'm so sorry. Tapanis Drakai of Judgment, and we'll read his card real quick. The first time each turn another hero becomes the target of a source that would deal lethal damage, you may discard a red card. If you do, choose a target for that source.
Which was very, very interesting for our my first UPF experience. I think it was yours too.
It was mine.
Um,
So I literally bought the precon decks just so I could get. I literally had no cards with me, so I was like, I need to
yeah.
get a bunch
So
of
so
draconic stuff. So I bought that, and then there was like some random
yeah.
whatever.
So you bought the Phi and the Dromai Blitz decks,
Mm-hmm.
and we had so it was me, you, and then I had two
Sean.
Blitz decks from Uprising in my bag.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so Sean from our locals,
And
I
Luke
can't remember
Harris.
the guy.
Luke Harris.
Uh okay. Um the other guy he played
He just pulled out the
one of the
Phi.
Blitz decks.
Yeah, we're like,
Yep.
here, have
Eh,
a blitz deck.
Yeah, but I will say this: the Blitz deck with throwing in some
We
furnaces
threw in
and
legendary equipment. We literally pulled out the blitz decks and had like each of us had like maybe four rares in our deck, and then we're all sitting there with stacked legendary equipment.
that was by far, I think, one of the most fun experiences I've had in Fab since like the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We'll have to get more
I
UPF.
had an absolute blast doing that, and I think just playing the Blitz decks even made it even more fun.
Mm-hmm.
With splashing the legendaries in there as our armor pieces. Uh, a- and I won my very first UPF battle, so that felt
Yeah,
pretty good too.
I know. Everybody was like, Nathaniel, are you gonna save him? Like, I have this guy. Like, why wouldn't I discard a red card to save you? Like, I'm just gonna do it. We all know I'm gonna save you. Um,
Yeah,
so we knocked out Luke Harris, and then you were like, "Who am I gonna attack?" I was like, "You have to." We were catty corner, so we couldn't
yeah,
attack each other. I was like, "You have to attack me because you know I'm just gonna drop down a card and save him and blast it back at you." Because that hero specifically says you can choose a new target, but it doesn't say you can't choose that a person as the target. So
right.
maybe a judge will get on me about this, but the way I translate that is you're gonna have to block your own attack, which
Mm,
makes me laugh so hard. Um,
right.
I am gonna
Ye-
say this. So that was a blast, and I think UPF overall um, is probably a better experience because we had shit decks. I think if we
Shit
had like
garbage decks.
fully optimized decks of like craziness, it would not have been fun, right? It would
Yeah,
be like just like absolutely nuts, and I'm not a big fan of Blitz. I know you aren't. Shout out to people who love Blitz, but it's just not our thing. It's too
yeah.
quick. You know, like killing people on turn 0, turn 1. It's just not my thing. Um, so I think us having like just kind of commons and stuff, I made it a blast. On top of that, having just a new hero that does something weird. I am excited for Tapanis. If I'm saying his name wrong, someone comment and butcher me in the comments. I don't care. He is going to be amazing in PvE.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought PvE into the equation too. So yeah, I mean, for UPF, just playing that, um, and now I'm really waiting for PvE. I cannot wait. Um, I think your speculation is gonna be right too. We discussed about this earlier in the year about silver palms.
Hmm.
I think that's gonna be a very relevant card when PvE does come out. So
So
um,
I think it's really
if
interesting.
you
So
haven't
like
done it yet, you better start buying your silver
buy your
palms.
silver pumps. Well, if you want to run merchant, right? If you're looking at
Right.
merchant as a, like, I honestly think that they printed Genus what you need as like he feels like he was printed specifically for PvE
For
in
sure.
mind.
I think I'm gonna run the gem keeper.
Well, you can only have tens plus in your deck.
Oh, this shit. That's right.
Yeah, you gotta get everything. You gotta get everything graded.
Uh, oh, but what we did, after we got done with our UPF for probably like the last couple of turns, someone's like, "Who's got a Yorwick?" The Bard. I'm like, "Oh shit, I got one," and I totally forgot about it.
Yorick, that's
Played
another
with
one
that.
who's going to be, I think, absolutely bonkers in PvE. I think he's going to be nuts because um, there's nothing in there that says you can't play cards that aren't yours. You
Mhm.
can't build your deck that aren't your class, but you can't play cards that aren't your class. There's nothing in there
Yeah.
that says you can't play it. So like, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Yorick is going to be a blast. Um, are you buying his loot?
So I'm gonna try to have Patrick, since he's going there for Team Kitchen Fable, to represent us in France. So I'm gonna probably stuff some cash in his pocket before he leaves, so I could, yes, get his
You know he's not. He's not
his
going to let
weapon.
that go. That's too
No,
good.
no, but he could buy it off someone else over
That's
there.
true.
So
There probably will be a decent amount of people trying to like. I think if I got it, if I was going over there and I got it, I probably would sell it.
well, see, the problem I run into is because I have my Yorwick, so now I need his weapon,
Right.
so I've gotta buy it.
Well, that's I think what's going to happen is there's going to be people like I don't have a Yorick, so I'm going to sell it. And people are Yoriks are
Mhm.
like, which I'm actually, or they'll be like, oh, well, let me buy your Yorick, which I actually at first I was like, that's really dumb, but I actually kind of like that because it makes like two sides of the world have two pieces, and they'll whoever has whoever it's more important to will end up with it, basically,
Mhm. Yep,
which I
for
think
sure.
is cool. Um, yeah, so our UPF experience was a blast. We'll do it again, but
Can't wait.
it makes me excited to build PV. I'm once you bring your bulk over to me, I will build a Taipanus deck that's gonna stay in my stuff. I know
You
it's
see the
ridiculous.
boxes right there? That was supposed to be for you last Saturday, and I left them on the bed before I
Do
left for the
you?
RTN.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be fun. Any last comments before we head on out?
Okay, beers were phenomenal.
I picked
Lately.
them out.
So good job. I can't remember what the brand is, the local brand in Mobile, but they're freaking
Braided River.
badass.
Braided River.
Yep.
So good.
So awesome stuff. I can't wait to try that Oyster City
Hmm.
mango though. Looks pretty tasty. Um, look forward to tomorrow. Hopefully, none of us backs out. I'll even try to hit up Jonathan to see if he could come out tomorrow. Maybe Sean. Maybe we can have 4 people.
I know. I know.
And um no, more UPF. I had a blast with that, and PVE, and um, kind of looking forward to off-fab, cryptic and sorcery. So can't wait for those to start rolling around here shortly.
Yeah, when we get those, we'll definitely get some of that up. I know we have some old videos of us. We might. We'll probably do some releasing of our old videos of us playing because I had a blast. All right. Well.
And great job on the interview with the Dorinthia player. That
Oh,
was
thank you.
fantastic. And if you guys didn't watch, so we did do the interview with Joshua Lau on his Bolton or his altar card, which was Sir Fetchin. So
So yeah, Sir
it was
Fetchhead
pretty
was so
cool.
cool.
So yeah, so congrats to him again for winning the RTN. So and the TCG card guys.
Yep. Well, everyone, have a good night. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other, and we will see you
Peace.
next week.